Hello, Bellevue Heights, and welcome to the Friday edition of BHC Today. One of my favorite stories in the Bible is the story about the widow's mite. Do you remember that story? It's found in Mark chapter 12, verses 42 through 44. Allow me to read. And he sat down opposite the treasury and watched the people putting money into the offering box. Many rich people put in large sums, and a poor widow came and put in 2 small copper coins, which make a penny. And he called his disciples to him and said to them, Truly I say to you, this poor widow has put in more than all those who are contributing to the offering box. For they all contributed out of their abundance, but she out of her poverty put in everything she had, all she had to live on. I believe this is a great story of how we are to live as stewards of the possessions that God has entrusted into our account. As you think about your giving, I find 3 things in this story that are so important. Number 1, her giving was an act of worship. She came to the church. Her giving was an offering to God, an act of worship there in the temple. And she did it as a genuine act of worship. The second thing, her giving was done in private. She wasn't standing on street corners like the hypocrites and the Pharisees saying, look how much I gave. I gave this much, or here, here, here. No, she quietly goes up and gives her offering to the Lord. The third thing is that I see her giving was sacrificial, not out of her excess. Many times we give God our leftovers. We see what we have left over at the end of the month. And if we have something left over, we'll give it to God. But we don't give God first. That's why the tithe is supposed to be the first 10%. We want to honor God by giving Him our first and then trusting God to provide for our needs for the rest of the month. And finally, her giving revealed the genuineness of her faith. I believe because she was willing to give her very best, because she was willing to give of her what most people would say she needed, she truly had faith that God would provide for her needs. People often say, well, I don't understand how much I'm supposed to give. Do I give out of my gross, or do I give out of my net? Do I give the first, or do I give the last? You know, friends, I think giving is a matter of your heart. I want to ask you to examine your heart and ask God what He thinks you should give. The question is not what would you do if you had more money, or what would you do if you had more abundance. The question is this: what are you doing right now with what you have? My encouragement to you this weekend is to look at your giving and ask God what steps you need to take to be more faithful in your giving in a way that you can be pleasing to God. Consider the widow. The amount is not the issue. She had very little, just a penny. The issue is, are you being faithful? Are you being faithful to giving to God with what He's entrusted to you? What are you doing right now with what you have? May I encourage you to thank God for His many blessings and strive to be faithful in your giving to Him. May God bless you and be encouraged.